Hello and welcome back to the Moneymatics podcast. This is your host, Omobobola. Welcome back. This is the podcast where I am talking about money, especially as it concerns you, the African in diaspora. So last time I was telling you about some of the lessons I've learned about money, and I was saying you should, have a financial tribe, find people of like minds. Because, there's a saying that you are the average of the 5 people that you interact with. So even financially, look around you and improve your financial tribe or find a financial tribe so that you can improve financially, you can grow financially. And then I was also talking about the fact that money attracts money. Money breeds money. The more you save, the more you're able to save, and the more you're able to invest, and then the more things that you're able to, the more opportunities that arise and are more open to you based on what you have in your pockets. We were talking about that last time, and today on this podcast I'm talking about your bad money habits, including my bad money habits if I want to personalize it. But I'm talking about your bad money habits, and I'll just be sharing from my experiences or from some of the things that I've seen people do that do not help us financially. These are habits that hinder you. They hinder you from going forward, from growing financially. So let's get right into it. The first bad money habit I want to raise is, you know what it is going to be. You know it. It's spending without budgeting. Yes. I told you the last time that if you are rich and you already you are swimming in money, you may not even budget. But I'm sure even rich people have a budget. You may not budget. But you and I that are still on this middle class level, that we're trying to grow, please, you should not be spending money without budgeting. No, it should not be happening. You should have a budget. You should know your income and you should know your expenses, and you should budget for all the things that you're doing. So, like I always scream, get your Excel sheet. If you're old school like me, I love my Excel sheet or my Google sheet, and I love it. I use it all the time. If you like apps, go for it. In fact, I'm going to do an episode where I'm going to be sharing some apps that you can use. I'm a very old school person. I use my Excel sheet. 1 + 1 is always 2. 3 - 2 is always 1. So I like to see that easy, that plainly for me, makes it easy for me to spend, to budget. So spending without budgeting, a very bad habit, because what that does is you might overspend without realizing that you don't have money for it. How many times have I thought that, this thing I can afford it, until I put the pen to the paper and I realize that, no, I actually cannot. So please don't spend without budgeting. The second bad habit that you and I sometimes have is spending more than we have. And this has to do with the fact that sometimes we like to buy things we don't have money for. And I'll talk to you, the African in diaspora. Back home in Nigeria, if you see somebody holding a phone, they've actually paid for that phone with their own money. They probably saved up for it. They probably begged someone for it. They probably hoodwinked someone into giving them the money. Whatever they did, at least they got it with money that they have in their hands. But many of us here in living in Europe or living in North America or wherever, we have a habit of going into stores and buying things on credit. In fact, I was so shocked when I first moved to Sweden. The people go and buy clothes in the store and they can actually put it on credit and they will be paying it little by little. Excuse me? Excuse you? What are you doing, man? You shouldn't be spending money you don't have. Don't buy phones you don't have. Don't buy clothes you don't have. Don't buy household utensils you don't have money for. Don't go buy a TV you don't have money for because they tell you can, in Swedish, del betala, you can pay in installments. No, don't do that. Bad money habits. Because what happens is at the end of the month, you have all these bills coming in. It's £10 here, £2 there. And then before you know it, it's a big chunk of money that has to be paid back every month. Spending more than you have is not good. Related to that is the fact that some of us, we buy on impulse. That's a very bad money habit. I'm not saying that you would never have a day. I mean, the goal of growing financially is that you get to the point sometimes when you buy something, it won't affect anything, or when you do some things or you do some givings, it won't affect anything. But buying on impulse is a bad money habit for you who is starting out trying to grow your finances. Don't buy things just because I saw a dress, it looks good, so I bought it. Oh, we went into the store, we were in El Giganten or Media Markt, and I saw a TV, and I was like, oh yeah, the children's room needs a TV. Then I buy it. No. Do not buy things on impulse. Recently, it was Black Friday, and there were a lot of things on sales. I'm sure many of you bought things just because they told you it's 50% off or 30% off. Don't fall for those things. Don't buy things that you did not plan for. Don't buy things that you didn't even know in the beginning of the week on Monday that you were going to need this or that you were going to buy it. And then on Friday, you've bought it. Don't buy on impulse. Related to that, another bad money habit that we have is, can you guess? Not saving enough. Let me let that sink in. Yes, not saving enough. Some of you have followed me long enough, maybe on intentional randomness or even just generally, and we know that we're supposed to save. Yeah, it's common sense. We know that we're supposed to save, and sometimes we're doing it, but then we're not doing enough. And I'll tell you what I mean. The standard is that you should save at least 20% of your income every month, and that is normal. So if you're not saving enough, let's say you're saving. And when I say not saving enough, I mean like you have the ability, the capability, the capacity to do more, but you're doing the barest minimum. It's a very bad money habit. In fact, I didn't even think of this thing so much until I heard, I think she's called Tosin of Money Africa talk about it. Like there are people that save less than what they actually have the ability to do. And so what that does is that you're spending lavishly when you could be putting money away for a rainy day. So whether you're thinking, oh, there is recession, there is inflation, at least you should be saving 15% of your income. You should not be eating up everything that comes into your hand. You should not be eating up everything that comes into your hand. So that's a very, very, very bad money habit if you're not saving enough and you have the ability to do it. Now, it's a different thing if you're struggling and your expenses are not even way more than your income. That's a different thing. We will come to that. We'll talk about that too on another episode. But if you have income and you have the ability to save and you're not doing it, very bad. Ayabaya, like we say in Sweden to our kids when they do something wrong. Ayabaya. Don't do that. Very much related to this is saving too much. And you might, which one is this one again? You said we should not save, some of us are saving too little. Now you're talking about saving too much. Yes, you can save too much. That is when you're taking a big chunk of your income and saving it at the expense of the things you actually need. And we've all been there. I have been there. There are times when, and sometimes it's for a good purpose, like when we were trying to maybe buy our house and we needed to have our deposits. Yes, we did save, like, there is even a friend of mine, one of these that she's going to be on this podcast, and she was talking about the fact that when they were saving up for their first apartment, their first property they bought as a couple, her husband went to work with the same lunchbox every day until he was so tired. I mean, there will be times like that. There will be days like that. We've all been there where we are, because of the joy that is set before us, we want to achieve something. But then that cannot be everyday thing that you save so much you can't even breathe. No, saving too much is a bad money habit, and I'll tell you why it is bad. There are times when I've been on this saving spree, and we call it financial hibernation in my family. Me and my husband, we call it financial hibernation. When we say, oh, it's time to go on financial hibernation, it's when we have a project and we're going on financial hibernation. But sometimes it can get to the point where you're saving so much that you're not spending, you're not living. There is no joy, there is no happiness in what you're doing, and then all of a sudden, one day you just get tired and then you want to spend everything that you've not spent in the last 1 year. And then what happens is you end up spending way more than you would have spent if you have actually been taking your spendings 1 month at a time or periodically. So please, bad money habit. Look at your savings. Am I choking? If you're choking, you need to let go, because this is not a 100-meter sprint. This is a marathon. You want to have something that is healthy, that is long lasting, that you can do for a long time. And like we always say, don't go on dieting, change your lifestyle. So don't attack your saving culture like it's a diet. You're running so hard so that it can, and then after a while you can't keep it up. You want a healthy saving culture that you can have for the long haul, no matter what happens, come rain, come sunshine. So yeah, saving too much, bad money habit. Another bad money habit that we all have, or that we all sometimes fall into, as especially as Africans living abroad, is sentimental and emotional giving. I'm talking to you. You will get called by your sister, your uncle, your brothers, mothers, sisters, uncle, daddy, and they call you and they need something, and they're like, oh, you are abroad, everything is even fine where you are, and then you get emotional. You start sending money that you don't have. Very, very, very bad money habit. Sentimental and emotional giving that you did not plan for, giving that you did not even know is coming, and you just get emotional and you give more than you sometimes even have. Some of you've become like Jehovah Jireh for your whatever, your friends, your family, and they run to you. And because it boosts your ego, now you're living abroad, Abby, you're the one that has arrived in the family, you start sending money you don't have. Very bad money habits. One of the best things you can do for yourself as someone who has probably moved abroad, you have gone out to find greener pastures, and yes, you feel for the family back home, you want to be a blessing. One of the first things you can do for yourself is to have the right approach, to have the right mindset, to encourage the people at home to know where you are. Don't go and be doing big boy or big girl to people that are living in Nigeria or in Kenya or in, I don't know, in Tanzania, and here you are suffering. You live in a one-room apartment in Sweden or in the UK, but you are building house for somebody in Nigeria. Are you seriously kidding yourself? Are you kidding yourself? Please don't let's be doing things like that. You remember when you are on the plane and you're flying, you've flown to diaspora. Good. On the plane, the hostess or the host comes and they're doing this demonstration and they're saying, oh, in the case of emergency and the oxygen mask drops, please remember to put on your own mask before you help your child or the person around you. Why do they say that? Because if you die, you cannot help your child, you cannot help your neighbor. So please, some of you, if you die, and I'm not talking about dying physically, I'm talking about dying financially, you will not be able to help anybody. Sometimes you need to take yourself out of a situation. You need to get strong enough financially before you can become Father Christmas. Yes, some of you are becoming Father Christmas before it's time, Santa Claus before it's time. And what happens when you do that is you keep getting dragged down. You can't even accumulate money to be able to start saving or investing or doing anything before money finishes. Somebody calls you from home. You've sent money. You've done this. And this sometimes is connected to your ego because you still want them to know now you went abroad. How can I not be able to afford? Excuse me, my brother, my sister. Let's borrow ourselves. Like, we say sometimes in Yoruba, but I would say it in Pidgin. Borrow yourself brain, no. If you die, you will not be able to help your neighbor. So make sure that financial oxygen mask, you put it on your nose first before you save somebody beside you. That is a lesson for today. Yeah, that is another very bad habit. Emotional and sentimental giving. You get hoodwinked into giving. It's not good. When you give, I'm not saying you should not help your family. I'm not saying you should not help people that need it. But make sure that it is within your capacity to help. It's within your capacity to help. Going forward, another bad habit that we have is when we are inconsistent with our money culture. So whatever it is that you're planning to do, whatever decisions you're planning to make financially, maybe you say, I'm going to be saving 10% of my income every month, or I'm not going to buy things that I don't need. I'm going to be disciplined. You need to be consistent with that. Because if you're not consistent, what happens is today you allow yourself to do this, tomorrow you don't allow yourself, then it's not good. It's just like any other kind of discipline that we're supposed to have. Be disciplined. Don't be inconsistent. Today you are saving, tomorrow you don't save, and then you put your money somewhere to invest, and then tomorrow you go and collect it back. No. Be consistent. If you're saving, save consistently. Have a fixed amount. Let it go out of your account every month. Every week, whatever it is that you're doing, be consistent. Inconsistent is a very, 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 very bad money habit. And I'm saying this very, very bad. You're laughing probably. It's because I want you to sink into your being. Yeah. Related to that, let me now come to some other, now. Related to that is when you don't plan for bulk money that you are expecting. So sometimes some of you at work, even now that we are in December, some of you are getting bonuses at work. You're getting, you're planning, maybe sometimes even when it's the time for the tax returns to come back, tax rebates, you are not planning for your bulk money. It just lands in your account and all of a sudden you have distributed it. That's the time somebody will call you. And then you remember the last time I was telling you that sometimes it feels like when you have money, that's when everybody is like somebody is using a long telescope to see your account and then they start calling you. And then before you know it, the money is gone. Very bad money habit is not planning for bulk money that you're expecting, that is coming through. If you're expecting money, whether it's something that you have worked for, you did something for someone, you did a job and you're expecting money, or you invested and your returns are coming back, always plan. Don't let bulk money meet you without planning. Because you can deceive yourself that, oh, look, I'm rich. And then you spend it. And then tomorrow you wake up and say, and last week I had money. Oh. We shall not see evil. Please do not get into a habit of not planning for your bulk money. If you have money that is coming through, make sure you plan for it. If you do not plan, you fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Financially, that also applies. Yeah. Very much related to that is some of you have the habit of spending money that is coming. Now, I'm talking about two different things here. It's not the same thing like the last point. This one is you've spent money that is coming. Next month I'm going to get bonus at work. So this month now you finish the bonus before the bonus even came. Bad money habit. Very bad. Don't do that. Until you've seen the money in your account, don't spend it. Don't buy things in January because you're waiting for money in April. No. Don't buy things in December for Christmas. Oh, now we're in December. Christmas is coming. Some of you are spending money that you're expecting in April already now. You've spent everything. Don't do that. Very bad habit to spend money that is coming before it arrives. Very, 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 very bad habit. Yeah. And last but not the least of the things that I want to talk about today, a bad habit is not doing things that you love with money. Some of us, we don't do the things that we love with money. And this is like your permission to, if you save, if you invest, if you're making money, you should give yourself the chance to enjoy it in the right way. It's very bad. It's a bad habit if you don't do the things you love with money. And that happens to many of us. It's very much related to even the whole black tax, sending money home thing. Some of you send a lot of money home, but you're struggling. You don't have any joy. Sometimes do something you like with money. Do something you like with money. Buy something you like with your money. Do something for yourself that you like with your money. It gives you joy and the energy to continue for the long run. So yeah, you might feel like, oh, Bobby has screamed on us today. Bad habit. Yes, it is so that we don't do those things. So if you have realized or if you've picked your own sub, like they say on Instagram, if you have picked your sub, please change your bad money habits. And remember, I'm going to leave you with something to remember. I'm always coming with the last nuggets. Remember that oxygen mask. Remember that if you die, you will not be able to help your neighbor or your child. So the first thing you want to do is to put the financial oxygen mask on your nose first before you save the world. If there's anything you pick from today, that is something that I want you to pick. Put on your financial emergency mask first before you save the world. Because if you die, you will not be able to help anybody. Until I come your way next time, this is the Money Matters podcast. Ciao, ciao.